Today, we're diving into a skill that can literally transform every single relationship in your life, both at home and at work. We're talking about active listening.
Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a conversation and you just get this feeling that your words are just kind of floating out into space? Like you're talking, but the person across from you isn't really with you? Yeah, if you've ever felt that, you are for sure not alone. That feeling often comes from a really common mix-up, because we tend to confuse hearing with listening. See, hearing is just the passive physical thing that happens. It's automatic. Your ears do the work without you even thinking about it. But listening, oh, that's a whole different ballgame. It's an active skill, it's deliberate, it takes focus, and its entire purpose is to actually understand. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to break down exactly how you can master this. First, we'll look at the real hidden costs of miscommunication. Then, we'll get crystal clear on what active listening actually is. After that, I'm going to give you a practical toolkit you can use right away. We'll also explore the game-changing power of I statements, and finally, we'll wrap up with why this skill is just so incredibly important right now.
All right, let's kick things off with the miscommunication problem. And we're starting here because, honestly, this isn't just about small frustrations. We're talking about the very real and sometimes very high stakes of not being heard.
I mean, think about it. Even on a simple project at work, right? A tiny misunderstanding about a deadline can cause hours of wasted work and a ton of frustration. But now, let's scale that up. Imagine a high-pressure place like an operating room. In that setting, rushed, unclear communication can lead to huge misinterpretations, team stress, and even serious medical errors. So the big takeaway here is that good listening isn't just some soft skill. It can be an absolutely essential, sometimes even life-saving one.
So if miscommunication is the big problem, what's the solution? Well, that brings us right to section 2. What is active listening? And here's a little spoiler for you. It's way more than just zipping your lips while someone else is talking.
At its heart, active listening means you're going way beyond the surface of the words. You are actively processing, you're working to understand the full message, the meaning, the intent, and this is the really important part, the emotion that's packed in there with the words. And here's the best part, and maybe the most empowering thing we'll talk about today. Active listening isn't some magic talent you're either born with or you're not. Nope, it is a learned skill. And that means with some deliberate practice and a little bit of work, every single one of us can get way better at it. Which, of course, brings us to the how. So let's get practical. Let's get into section 3, your active listening toolkit. Think of these as real, concrete tools you can start using in your very next conversation. Okay, let's unpack these 5 key tools. Number 1, be fully present. I mean, really present. Phone down, notifications off, give them your full undivided attention. 2, use nonverbal cues. Simple things, right? Nodding, making eye contact. It signals, hey, I'm with you. 3, ask open-ended questions, the kind that need more than just a yes or no. 4, and trust me, this one is a total game changer. Reflect and paraphrase. Basically, say back what you heard in your own words. And finally, number 5, withhold judgment. Your job is to create a safe space for them to be honest. And that point about nonverbal cues, it is so critical. Why? Well, because some studies suggest that as much as 65% of what we communicate is unspoken. That's your tone of voice, your body language, your facial expressions. So think about that. If you're only listening to the words, you could be missing more than half of the actual conversation. The ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus absolutely nailed it with this one. It's just such a great reminder that real listening takes real effort. It's often so much harder, but also so much more important than just talking. All right, enough theory. Let's make this super concrete and see how these tools actually work in a real conversation. So just imagine your friend Lisa comes to you and says this. She's obviously upset, she's vulnerable. Now, for most of us, our first instinct is to jump right in and try to fix it, to offer advice. But look what an active listener like Jody does. She resists that urge, and instead, she uses one of our tools, the open-ended question. This simple little shift invites Lisa to share more, and it shows that Jody is there to understand, not just to solve. And as Lisa keeps talking, Jody pulls another tool out of the kit, reflection. Now notice, she doesn't say, I know exactly how you feel. She just reflects the emotion she heard. You sound upset. Wow. This is such a powerful way to show empathy and to make Lisa feel truly, deeply heard. But of course, great communication isn't just about listening, right? It's a two-way street. So let's flip the coin and move on to our next section, the power of I. This is all about how to express yourself clearly and assertively without starting a fight.
Just look at this comparison. It shows you everything. On the left, you've got those you statements. They just immediately sound like an attack, don't they? They put people on the defensive right away. But by making one tiny shift to an I statement, you change the entire vibe. You never clean up becomes, I feel stressed when the house is disorganized. See? You're focusing the conversation on your feelings and your needs, which invites teamwork instead of conflict.
And there's a simple, super powerful formula you can use for this. You start by stating your feeling, I feel, then you connect that feeling to a specific behavior, when, and finally you say what you need, and I would like. It's just a clear, direct, and totally non-accusatory way to communicate.
Okay, so now we have the tools for listening and the tools for speaking. Let's bring it all home in our final section and talk about the big payoff, why this skill matters so much.
So why do all this work? Because the benefits are huge, and they pop up everywhere. Active communication builds deep, lasting trust and makes your relationships stronger. It cuts down on conflicts and silly misunderstandings. It naturally fosters empathy and collaboration, which makes you a better teammate, a better leader, a better partner. It even improves problem solving and, as we talked about, can reduce errors at work. But at the end of the day, it creates an atmosphere of mutual respect. And really, that's the foundation of any healthy relationship. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's a practice. So I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. What is one conversation, just one, that you have coming up this week where you can make the choice to truly listen, to put the distractions away, listen to understand, and maybe, just maybe, change the entire outcome?